Hacker.
Talk about a fried egg. I lasted about 5 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Monday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us as we set sail on another week. A week that finds most of us, because I'm assuming most of us have some sort of allegiance to the Florida Gators, the Florida State Seminoles, or the Jacksonville Jaguars. Maybe two of those three you find yourself having allegiance to. But I would imagine an overwhelming majority of the people listening right now or watching on the MyBookie digital platform right now, again, have some sort of allegiance to Florida, Florida State, or Jacksonville. And we are in the midst of football purgatory in 2024. This is as bad as it has been for those three combined in one football season. 7 wins and 22 losses. And it was so bad on Saturday for Florida and Florida State that, do you realize the Seminoles and the Gators combined got outscored by 101 to 20? 101 to 20. 81-point differential if you combine the losses for the orange and blue and the garnet and gold on Saturday, just getting absolutely embarrassed. One in Austin, Texas, the other in South Bend, Indiana. And then Sunday, you think, well, all right, maybe, just maybe the Jaguars can give us something to take out of this weekend, something positive. Nope. Get outgained in yardage by 250. Get time of possession 42 to 18, basically. Minnesota does not score an offensive touchdown. Minnesota commits 3 turnovers. Minnesota is the first team in a long time that had 3 turnovers, no offensive touchdowns, and actually won an NFL football game. In fact, the previous 195 times that had happened in the National Football League, that team had lost. Let that sink in for one moment, ladies and gentlemen. 195 times in a row, a team had 3 turnovers or more and did not score an offensive touchdown. They lost an NFL football game. So the Jacksonville Jaguars made history. You witnessed history yesterday at Everbank Stadium. So Florida and Florida State get outscored 101 to 20 on Saturday. The Jaguars make NFL history in a negative way on Sunday. Welcome to North Florida football season 2024. We'll obviously continue that conversation. It's Monday night here on Hacker After Dark, so you know what that means. A little Monday night coaching with Campo. My buddy Dave Campo, former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, joins us coming up in less than 15 minutes. We will also go down to Gainesville at the top of the 9 o'clock hour. Andrew Spivey, GatorCountry.com. The dreaded vote of confidence from Scott Strickland, the AD, to Billy Napier. Yuck. They go out and just get throttled by the Texas Longhorns. Is Billy safe? Does he have to perform better than that against LSU, Ole Miss, and Florida State? And you got the Todd Golden situation. The allegations in the Alligator newspaper last week. Golden has come out with a statement saying he's lawyered up, pursuing a defamation lawsuit against the accusers. And, oh, by the way, Todd Golden is actually coaching the Florida Gator basketball team right now against Grambling. So there's a lot to get into with Andrew Spivey, GatorCountry.com. He joins us tonight at the top of the 9 o'clock hour. Glad you're with us on a Monday every night here on Hacker After Dark. We do kick it off with a big deal of the night and Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No, because it is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
Most disappointing season in the history of the Jacksonville Jaguars. You know, some of the time, I always come on Hacker After Dark, and I give you my honest opinion. I shoot you straight, man. Are there times where maybe my opinion doesn't change? Maybe I'll purposely say something a little over the top, maybe add some adjectives to my opinion to spice it up a little bit. That's called radio shtick, right? Let me take you inside the business, radio lingo. Get you guys get maybe a little more fired up than just be boring about it. Even though my opinion is the same, you kind of add some hot fudge to the ice cream, right? You add a strawberry on top of the ice cream to get reaction. This is not one of those times. 2024 is the most disappointing season in the history of the Jacksonville Jaguars. The only other competitor it could be is the year 2000. Now, I know for some of you, this is a feel-old statement for me, you might not remember the year 2000. Well, let me give you a quick history lesson. The Jaguars had gone to the playoffs, 96, 97, 98, 99. They weren't yet in salary cap hell. It was closing in, but it wasn't there yet. They added terrific free agents like Hardy Nickerson to the middle of that defense. They were going to get over the top, right? They were going to beat Tennessee and get over the top. And it just never materialized. That 2000 team failed to make the playoffs. I believe they went 7-9. And that was probably the most disappointing season in Jaguar history until now, 2024. Now, look, this isn't the worst team in Jaguar history, but those are not the same things. There is a difference between being the worst team and being the most disappointing team. There have been plenty of teams that are worse than this. Well, I say plenty. There have been some teams that are worse than this. 2012, 2020, 2021. There have been teams that have been worse. 95, the expansion year. But disappointing, no. I think this is the most disappointing team we've ever had here in Jacksonville. There were expectations on this football team. They won 9 games back-to-back years. Clearly, they didn't get any worse, right? Yeah, you lost Calvin Ridley, but you added Gabe Davis and Brian Thomas Jr. Yeah, you lost Rayshon Jenkins, Darius Williams, Foley Fatukasi. Keep in mind, you cut all those guys. You didn't have to lose them. You chose to cut them. And you bring in Darnell Savage, and you bring in Ronald Darby, and you bring in all these different guys. I didn't have this team going to the Super Bowl. I don't think many of you had this team going to the Super Bowl. But what I did have them doing is being better than that 9-8 team last year. And they're not going to sniff 9-8. Put this in a perspective. They would have to win out from here on out to get to 9-8. They're not going to sniff it. They're not even going to come close. It is a failure across the board. With the exception, I guess, of special teams. Cam Little and Logan Cook have done their job this year. Logan Cook might be the best punter in football. So I'll give special teams the benefit of the doubt. But from the front office to the coaching staff to the offense to the defense, you take them all and you give them failing grades 10 games in. Some weeks are better than others. Yesterday was a defensive day. Keep in mind, there have been many days this year that were not defensive days. Some days are offensive days. Yesterday was not one of them. But the term complimentary football goes bye-bye when it comes to this football team. They don't do anything along those lines. The coaching staff has been uninspiring. Doug Peterson yesterday showing some frustration. A legit question was asked by Brent Martineau about the Mac Jones interception to end the game. And Doug Peterson says, well, he doesn't really want to get into that play because, quote, you wouldn't understand it anyway, referring to the media. I get the frustration. I get the aggravation. But, look, the NFL mandates that you talk to the media after games. If you got a problem with it, go talk to the NFL and the Coaches Association, union, all that. It's your job to talk to the media after the games. And when you're 2-8, and when you're 3-13 in your last 16, it might not be a good idea to be a JA.
You guys wouldn't figure it out.
Yeah. It might not be a good idea to do that. Look, if you're 7-2 and cooking with fire, then we might give you a pass. But I'm not giving you a pass for losing 13 out of your last 16 and behaving like that. The one thing I will give Doug Peterson the benefit of the doubt on is at least he talks to the media. Now, he's mandated to. Trent Baalke doesn't say anything. I'd love to hear from the general manager about this nonsense going on here in Jacksonville, but you won't. Won't hear anything from him. Do you realize the 3 games they've won in the last 16 were against essentially a high school team last year in Carolina? That's what Carolina was in December last year. Drake May in New England this year in London, May making his second career start. And the Indianapolis Colts, who didn't have Jonathan Taylor. Those are your 3 wins in your last 16 games. This isn't the worst team the Jaguars have ever had, but I believe it is the most disappointing. And if I'm wrong, let me know. Other than the year 2000, has there been a more disappointing team than the 2024 Jacksonville Jaguars? Hit me up on the text line. Designed by Lifetime Enclosures, 641-1010. Let's talk Jaguars. Let's review yesterday. Let's talk about the hot seat, which is a topic of conversation. I guess we'll spend a moment on Detroit and that beating that's awaiting the Jaguars on Sunday in the Motor City. My gosh. Hail Caesar for those about to be slaughtered coming up Sunday at 1 o'clock. Holy crap, that's going to be bad. Let's talk about all of it, my buddy Dave Campo. It's Monday Night Coaching with Campo. The former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys joins me here on Hacker After Dark. A Monday evening, Monday Night Football kicking off. Dolphins, Rams, we'll keep you updated. I'm trying to pull off the greatest fantasy football comeback of all time. I got Jamar chased on Thursday. I was down 80 going into yesterday. I doubt I win, Denmark. I need 25 from H-Chan tonight of the Dolphins. I doubt it happens, but if it does, I will have pulled off maybe the greatest comeback in the history of fantasy football.
It's just a pound job.
It wasn't.
And guys are tired
yeah.
that 4 minutes.
It was a pound job. Hayes Carline with Jamar Chase last Thursday got him 55. I'm trying to make the comeback. H-Chan, I need 25 from you tonight. Dave Campo next. Hacker After Dark. 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Good drives bring more points. Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville brings you the drive of the game.
Great job.
On 1010XL. Drive to the game in luxury with Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville.
Thank you to everybody that came out to Ponte Vedra to Mr. Chubby's last Saturday for my Awaken 180 100-pound loss celebration. I'm down over 100. I got to meet Bill in person, the COO of Awaken 180. I told him personally. He saved my life. He's changed my life. That entire company at Awaken 180, they have changed my life for the better. I'm down over 100 pounds, thanks to the best weight loss program I've ever been on. And what I really enjoyed about Saturday is I had people coming up to me asking me about it, people that know they needed to lose weight. I had one gentleman saying, look, I'm 62 years old. I got a grandchild. I want to be here for my grandchild. That's a powerful motivator. I had the same feeling about my 5-year-old son. Go to awaken180weightloss.com, awaken180weightloss.com. Guys, I lost over 100 pounds on that program. If I can do it, trust me, you can do it. Awaken 180 weight loss.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Let's start the debate. Why would someone buy a new car from you? We have an exclusive 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty on every new vehicle. We offer a competitive wow price plus free oil changes. How much will someone get for their trade? We offer more than $4,000 over KBV value. Well, we never lose a trade over price. Okay, when is the best time to buy a car? Right now. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter which side you pick. At Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet, you get it all. Let us show you why we're the winning vote.
Yo, it's your boy E to the T here. And fellas, we all know that athletes train every day to perform better on the field, right? But what if you could enhance your performance in the bedroom? No training required. That's right. I'm talking about that secret weapon, Blue Chew. A chewable tablet with the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, and Staxin that ships right to your door in a discreet package. No doctor visits, no trips to the pharmacy. It's all online. Their licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredients and strength for your prescription. They also have Daily Tad that contains 7 essential vitamins. And it's chewable too. And now you can try Blue Chew for the free ski. That's right, for free on me. Visit BlueChew.com and enter my promo code TenTenXL. You only have to pay $5 for shipping. Turn that oh no into a oh yeah. That's promo code TenTenXL. Let your boy hook you up with some Blue Chew. Get your confidence back. Visit BlueChew.com.
Jags fans, looking for the perfect activity around the holidays? We've got you covered with the inaugural Teal Trot 5K. The race takes place outside Everbank Stadium, Saturday, December 21st. We can't wait to see you there. Your registration includes the 5K, a throwback Jaguars headband, and a ticket to the December 29th game against the Titans. Visit Jaguars.com/Teal Trot to sign up today.
It's your boy E to the T, and I hope everyone had a profitable betting weekend. But guess what? Tonight is Monday Night Football, and I hope everybody followed me last week because that Cade Otton touchdown, oh yeah, it hit. Tonight, the Miami Dolphins travel to the Los Angeles Rams, where it's basically a pick'em. The Rams look to be favored by 1 point in a high-scoring game with a 50-point over-under. Tyreek Hill is due for a monster game, and here's tonight's play. On my bookie, you can get the same game parlay. Cheetah over 5.5 catches and over 77.5 receiving yards pays $240 on a $100 bet. If this game shoots, Tyreek can do that in his sleep. Guys, my bookie has the best sign-up bonus in the industry for Florida bettors. Our listeners can just sign up and use my promo code TenTenXL to claim that bonus that doubles your money on that very first deposit up to $1,000. That's promo code TenTenXL to claim that double deposit bonus for Monday Night Football. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, and make this season your winning season with my bookie.
Get closer to nature.
Trying to get close to these bucks out here.
Jeff Lageman, Captain Kevin Faber, and Captain Kirk Waltz. The Nimnicht Outdoor Show. Presented by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. Saturday morning, 7 to 10 on 1010XL.
I'm Jeff Middlecoff with Trustline Mortgage. My business partners, Alan Tyre, Bill Pappas, and Ken Rimley, have been helping first-time home buyers with their mortgage financing all over Florida for 34 years. First-time home buyers can get no or low down payments, anywhere from 0 to 3.5% down. As a first-time home buyer with Trustline Mortgage, you get added benefits for doing your loan with us, like lower rates on your mortgage insurance and lower closing costs. Oh, and did I forget to mention that Trustline gives first-time home buyers better mortgage interest rates? Here's the bottom line. Trustline Mortgage wants to help first-time home buyers accomplish your goal of home ownership. That's why Trustline Mortgage is offering the best first-time home buyer benefits around, period. Trustline Mortgage delivers with no and low down payments, lower closing costs, and better interest rates. Call Trustline Mortgage today at 381-LOAN. Yes, 381-LOAN to find out how we can help you buy your dream home. Or visit our website at TrustlineMortgage.com. Trust your instincts and follow the line to Trustline Mortgage.
Certain restrictions apply. See office for details. Trustline is an equal housing opportunity. MLS number 331480.
Arrested? Got traffic tickets? DUI? License problems, gun charges, drug charges? If you've been charged with any crime, call me, criminal defense attorney Malcolm Anthony, at 285-4LAW. That's 285-4LAW.
The holidays are coming, and so is your family. Is your septic system ready?
Honey, why is the yard bubbling?
Dad, the dog's swimming in the septic tank.
Let's
That's one way to greet the in-laws.
Don't let a septic disaster be the highlight of your holiday dinner. Call Duck Duck Rooter today and get it fixed before Uncle Bob finds out the hard way. Duck Duck Rooter, your local septic experts. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. DuckDuckRooter.com.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 5-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now graduate making over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or no student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost are the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org, and you can apply there.
Apply by May 23rd.
Cyber threats don't take time outs. Protect your business with DoubleCheck Cybersecurity's AI-powered solutions. Get 24/7 defense and stop hackers before they score. Don't wait. Visit doublecheck.com to schedule your free security consultation today.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jacksonville Jaguars, well, they lost again yesterday. Another heartbreaker, another game decided in the final 60 seconds. The Minnesota Vikings come in here, do not score a touchdown, but they win the game. 12-7. Jacksonville now 2-8 on the year. And they get to go to Detroit to maybe play the best team in the NFL currently on Sunday in the Detroit Lions. Is there anything positive we can say? Well, one of the most positive guys I know joins me every Monday night here on Hacker After Dark. That's my friend Dave Campo, former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. It's always Monday night coaching with Campo here on Hacker After Dark. Coach, how we doing, pal?
Yeah, well, obviously it's another typical Monday. You know, it's unfortunate. You know, we had plenty of chances to win yesterday, but we certainly didn't get it done. And, you know, just like all the good teams, Minnesota found a way to win at the end.
They did, and look, there are so many branches to what's going on. I'm going to do a lot of more big picture stuff with you and not necessarily focus as much on yesterday, but quickly to yesterday's game. You and I got to air our grievances on the fifth quarter, but now we've had, 24 hours to kind of think about it a little more. Minnesota dominated the game. If Jacksonville would have come back and won that game, they would be just absolutely fuming in Minneapolis. I mean, they had 250 more yards of offense than the Jaguars. They had the ball for 42 minutes compared to Jacksonville's 18. How that game was 12-7 in the fourth quarter, Coach, is absolutely beyond me.
Well, there's no question about that. And if you want something positive, after I just re-looked at the game. I haven't looked at the 22 yet because it doesn't come out till tomorrow. But watching the game over again, if there's anything positive, I thought the defense, more than I did last night, I thought that they battled and they made plays when they had to make them. And, to be honest with you, if we don't get the personal foul at the end, we would have had one more chance with about 40 seconds left. I don't think it would have made any difference. But to me, the defense, they forced the field goals. That's what you have to do. I thought they had a good game plan because they played about 90% what you would call shell defense, which meaning that they were in too deep, either quarters or cover two. Or roll to 86 to 18, excuse me. So they did what they had to do, and unfortunately, at the end, we didn't do much in the second half at all offensively. The first half, I thought we had a couple of drives, but they were killed by miss on blitzes with the backs. I mean, the backs were terrible. Blocking and the combination of the backs and number 77 didn't work out too well, especially in the second half.
The head coach, Dave Campo, here with us on Hacker After Dark. Coach, how would you assess Mac Jones's performance yesterday?
Well, first of all, I would have said that he tried to do what they had to do. and that was take a profit. Just don't make any mistakes. Get the ball underneath. Let some guys try to make some plays. Do whatever you can there. We got too many situations where it was second and long, which, again, is a kiss of death, because now you really have to make a good play to get you into third and manageable. But at the end, the fumble snap, and then the last drive, where they had the football at the 42-yard line, 1st and 10, he made a bad decision. He should have continued to take the profit, which he was doing up to that point. But then he launched one, and I don't know whose fault it was, whether, Zero made the wrong decision, Gabe Davis, or whatever. It doesn't matter. We really had plenty of time to continue to dink and dunk it to get us into position to where we can take a couple shots at the end zone.
Coach, you've been around the National Football League for decades as a head coach, a coordinator, an assistant. I mean, you've seen a lot, no question about that. In the last 2 weeks, last week against Philadelphia, the Jaguars did not get a first down until halfway through the second quarter. Yesterday against Minnesota, they had 143 yards of offense. They ran 43 plays, had the ball less than 18 minutes, and of the 143, 70 came on that touchdown drive. That means every other time they touch the ball, that means 60 yards the rest of the game. I mean, the offense is broken at this point, correct?
Yeah, it's a struggle. I mean, again, I think one of the biggest things that I saw for the offense was that they did not get a lot of action on first down. That's one of the things that I think hurt them, to where there were too many. The first drive, they had a 3rd and 8, which, again, is here or there. You just don't know. And really, to be honest with you, I thought number 17 had a chance to catch the ball, but he didn't. They moved the ball on the second drive. They get the touchdown. The third drive, they miss a 3rd and 2 on a blitz. He had to scramble. They got too much pressure on us, which I think they could have really blitzed the whole game and really would have, hurt us quite a bit. The next drive, they were moving the football until they blitzed again, and number 4 got run over on 2nd and 9, put him in a 3rd and 17. You're not going to get anything there. And then all of a sudden, the next drive, with the score 7-3 them on 1st and 10, that's when number 1 and number 77 decided not to block anybody, and Grenard sacked him, and all of a sudden you got a 3rd and 18. So, it's one of those things, if you're not staying on par, unless you got, and by the way, they played a lot of shell defense too, to try to keep number 7 from getting the football. So, you have to make some good throws there, and you can't get yourself behind par, which they did almost the whole day.
A couple more for the head coach, Dave Campo, here with us on Hacker After Dark. Coach, you're a defensive guy. That's how you buttered your bread and out of the end zone, and your offense just looks like that and gives you absolutely no help. I mean, I think we saw some of that frustration with Trayvon Walker there at the end of the game. What's the message to the defensive guys when your offense lets you down like that?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's tough, and I think you've heard me say before that, back when I was a defensive coordinator, I started every weekly meeting on the first day saying, guys, just remember one thing. We control what we control, and that's to do everything we can to give our offense an opportunity. And we can't worry about what they do. If they don't score, we win. And so, my whole feeling is that you have to keep grinding on defense. I think they made the right decision. I was a little upset during the game because I thought to myself, well, we're not really, we have a 17-play drive and a 10-play drive and all those things. You're really not giving the offense very many opportunities. But at the same time, they've made the decision now that they can't line up with their players against the real good players on other teams and line up and try to blitz and pressure and do all those kind of things. They can't do it. They're not getting a great pass rush. So they've made the decision that they're going to be bend but don't break and then play in the red zone. And really that's what they did. And that was the only way they were going to have a chance with Jefferson over there and Addison and Naylor, the receivers they had. They forced the ball to Hawkinson, and to be honest with you, Hawkinson made plays. And so they did what they wanted to do, but it wasn't enough.
I want to get to Doug Peterson now, and in fairness to Doug, he's the guy that has to meet the media 3 or 4 times a week, whereas Trent Baalke, who is equally as responsible for what's going on, or maybe even more so, doesn't have media obligations during the year. We never hear from the general manager as to why his team is so terrible and probably the biggest disappointment in the NFL. But we do hear from Doug. And Doug has not looked good in press conference settings the last couple of weeks. If you go back to last week, he was asked about Trevor's shoulder. It's the left shoulder. Trevor's obviously a right-handed quarterback. So how would a left shoulder affect a right-handed quarterback? And Doug made the reference or the joke, I guess, well, it might affect the way he carries his duffel bag. And then he said a bunch of other stuff. And at the end, he said it's really a pain tolerance issue. So you could take that as, I don't know if it's throwing Trevor under the bus necessarily, but a pain tolerance issue. That's what you're telling us about your starting franchise quarterback not playing. All right. And then after that, then you go to the game yesterday. And then he gets on the media's case. I believe it was Martineau asked him basically what was going on with that last play, the interception. And Doug goes, well, I'll watch the tape. I'm not going to talk about it because you guys really wouldn't understand it anyway. And I'm paraphrasing. That's essentially what he said. And that's gotten a lot of grief from a lot of people, including myself. You know, X's and O's, you know, whatever, Coach. You're the guy, right? You're the football guy, and there's no doubt about that. We didn't play the game. We didn't coach the game. But I'm good at math, and I'm good at knowing that in the last 16 times you've been the head coach of this football team, they've lost 13 of those 16. That's what I do know, right? I've figured that one out. And you are losing games at a far, far, far faster rate than anybody here envisioned. Dave Campo, you are a head coach. I guess you do understand the world that Doug Peterson's in. Do you have issue with what he did at the press conference yesterday or last week?
Well, let me just say it this way. You know, I really felt that, you know, the head coach is responsible to take a bullet, number one. And so, you know, in my mind, to the general public and the media and all that, you know, you have to be, you have to understand that number one, you got to stand tall, and you cannot show them you're sweating. And I think at this particular time right now, that would be my only disappointment, is that I think he's frustrated enough now to where, you know, it's almost like in the fifth quarter yesterday, Hack, and I don't know if it's a right analogy or not, but we spent a lot of time kind of laughing during the thing about how we played. Well, that's frustration. You know, we couldn't sit there and say, well, if we did this and we did that and we did this, we didn't do that. We kind of laughed through it because it's becoming so common now all of a sudden. And I think in Doug's case, I think he's frustrated enough to where, you know, he lets that come out. And I think that's a little bit of a criticism of him, to be perfectly honest with you. But I understand it with the analogy I just gave you.
And again, he's the one that has to talk to us. I mean, that's a fair thing. Trent Baalke doesn't have to answer for this nonsense. And Baalke should have to answer for this nonsense. The team is terrible. The team that he constructed has been terrible at 2-8. And again, one of the biggest disappointments in the NFL. I mean, there's 7 games left, Coach. You know, I mean, where do we go from here? Go to Detroit, right? And they're a 12.5-point underdog. The Jaguars are going to the Motor City, playing arguably the best team in football, certainly the best team in the NFC. When you combine that if the NFL draft were held today, the Jaguars would have the number 1 pick. I mean, any given Sunday, right, in the National Football League, and I get that, and that all sounds good and well, but, boy, this could get ugly on Sunday, could it not?
Well, yeah, I think it could. I go back to, you know, I really felt that this one was going to be ugly against Minnesota. But, again, you know, as long as you keep the guys playing hard, anything can happen. And again, I know you just said that, you get kind of tired of hearing that, but it is the truth in the NFL. And I don't think this football team is good enough they're just not playing good enough to say, okay, we can win 2 or 3 in a row. And obviously I'm looking at Detroit right now the same way I kind of look at Kansas City. They find a way to win at the end of the football game. And, we make some picks with the primetime show, not gambling, but we make some picks. And I won that one with Detroit coming back and kicking that field goal at the end.
It was a great game last night, a phenomenal game.
Absolutely. And the only disappointing thing to me is about this season is that, I felt right along that Houston was going to come back to the pack. And they're doing that, but nobody else in the South is challenging them, But to go on the road to Detroit, although I think we play a little better on the road for some reason, that's a tough chore. If you ask me, are they going to win, I would say no.
Coach, final question. And again, you lived this in Dallas, your final year. What telltale signs should we look for, I guess, early in the game on Sunday to see if the interest level for the Jaguars is there? You know what I mean? I don't want to use the Q word, the quit word, but, what are you going to do early in that game? Because I've heard a lot of people in that locker room yesterday after the game that said that was probably the most deflated locker room of the season, which is saying something at 2-8. And you got to turn right back around and play the best team in the NFC and the Detroit Lions on the road. What are you going to be looking for to see if the effort's there early in the game on Sunday?
Well, I would say, again, I don't know exactly what you look for, but I do know that if they can keep it close early, that's going to be big. And that doesn't mean that they're not going to, Detroit's not going to take over the game and win the football game. But if they get off to a bad start again, that could get ugly. But I really think that, you really find out about your football team under adversity. And if you had to say, if you just had to say, what do you think about this football team? You'd say, number one, I don't think they're very good. But number two, they haven't given up yet. To hold them to 4 field goals, make plays when they had to make them on defense. Offensively, they're a little bit behind the 8 ball when you have a backup quarterback. We saw a couple situations where receivers didn't do exactly what Mac thought they were going to do, or guys didn't block the blitz exactly the way they should have. But overall, I didn't see a lot of quit out there, and that's what I'm looking for right there.
The head coach, Dave Campo. You get him every week here on Hacker After Dark. Of course, you hear him all over the 1010XL airwaves on Prime Time, the Campo and Joe podcast, and the Fifth Quarter. And, Coach, that's the next time I will see you on Sunday, 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Lions go final. We'll have the Fifth Quarter right here for you on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Coach, have a terrific week. I'll see you Sunday evening, my friend.
Absolutely. And if you have a lot of faith, hopefully we're going to have a win next week.
Relive the best moments from the weekend's games.
That's what superstars do.
Post-game Monday. Expert analysis of Sunday's game all day. Brought to you by Dandy Foods, makers of quality fresh sandwiches and home of the good stuff on 1010XL.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Our first contestant, a stay-at-home gymnast from Jacksonville, Florida. It's Gwendolyn Pierce.
Thank you, Monty. I don't know who installed my air conditioner, but it hasn't had a tune-up in over 3 years. Am I cool?
Let's ask our expert judging panel. Judges? I'm sorry, Gwendolyn. You're not cool. Johnny, tell her why.
That's right. To keep your air conditioner performing at its best, you need a skilled technician to check your pressures, voltages, and air filters in the fall and the spring. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, our club members get 2 free visits a year to make sure that you are cool.
Can you tell me if my haircut is sexy?
You're better off not asking.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Get off the ladder and put on the helmet with Gutter Helmet of North Florida. We are family-owned and manufactured locally. Cleaning your gutters is a dangerous and dirty job. That's why with Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. Water goes in your gutters while trash and debris go on the ground. It won't collect like filters do. Gutter Helmet protects. Call now for 10% off and a free gutter cleaning and tune-up with your purchase of Gutter Helmet. Call 904-762-7779.
When it comes to selling your home, it can be stressful. Take the stress out with my friends, Chad and Sandy Newman. Maybe you're worried you won't sell your home for the price you need. How's this for a guarantee? Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they'll buy it. No required costly repairs. Pick your move date. There are no long-term contracts, and you can cancel at any time. Mortgage rates are down, creating more active buyers and sellers. And if you've been waiting, now is a great time to sell your home. Take Kim in Palm Coast. I needed to move closer to family ASAP, but I had to sell my Palm Coast home first. I tried and failed with another agent. So my family said, you got to call Chad and Sandy. Well, sure enough, as promised, Chad and Sandy did it. They sold my home in 3 days, above asking price. Call the local Jacksonville experts I trust and recommend. Call Chad and Sandy today at 904-414-6200 or go to chadandsandy.com. That's Chad, ANDSANDY.com.
It's a game 80 years in the making. Join us for Thursday Night Football as we celebrate the 80th birthday of the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl game. The SEC and ACC face off January 2nd at 7:30 on Bill Gay grounds at Everbank Stadium. Don't miss college football pageantry on display as we celebrate our 80th anniversary. Tickets and hospitality packages are on sale now at TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com. Get yours today.
1010XL is the home of Gator Nation and the Gator Bites podcast presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. I'm Hacker, and we keep you connected with the University of Florida all year long. Get Gator Bites where you find podcasts.
Come on, admit it. Almost everyone you know seems to be playing pickleball now, right? So whether you just want to learn how to play or you're ready to show off your elite pickleball skills, the Y is the place for you. Visit our brand new McGuire Family Pickleball Center at the Brown Family YMCA in Ponte Vedra Beach. 5 top quality outdoor courts and 3 amazing indoor courts where you can learn about dinks, billball, falafel, the kitchen, and more pickleball slang at the Y.
In its final year, we encourage you to help create great futures for young people when you run or walk at Mackenzie's Run, Saturday, November 23rd. Join Boys and Girls Club of Northeast Florida for a 5K and 1-mile fun run through the beautiful stadium course at TPC Sawgrass. Enjoy food, live music, face painting, family fun, and more at our Runners Village. Register at MacKenziesRun.org. Mackenzie's 5K and Fun Run, November 23rd. MacKenziesRun.org.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-IHRS 777-4477.
Make a crucial catch against colon cancer. Hicken here for the Borland Groover Foundation. If you're 45 or older, the ball is in the red zone to get screened. The key to surviving colon cancer, early detection and prevention. 45 is the new 50. Get screened for colon cancer now. The Borland Groover Foundation is a nonprofit organization devoted to building a healthy and equitable community that is free from colon cancer. Visit BorlandGrooverFoundation.com for more.
Get ready for a smoking hot night at the brand new Cigars International Superstore at the Town Center. Friday, join 1010XL for a back-to-back live broadcast. Into the Night with Rick Ballou kicks things off from 4 to 6, followed by the Bueller Air Conditioning and Plumbing College Football Kickoff Show from 6 to 7:30 with Matt Hayes. Celebrate with 1010XL as we promote Saturday's grand opening of Cigars International. Swing by Friday. 1010XL is live on location from 4 to 7:30 only at Cigars International.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Monday Night Football going on to cap off Week 10 of the National Football League. Miami 7-0 over the Rams. 2.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Malik Washington, an 18-yard touchdown. In Denmark, the hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us on a Monday night edition of Hacker After Dark. College basketball tonight. First off, actually, let me give a little love. You know, we are in sports purgatory right now in North Florida, North Central Florida. The Seminole football team is awful. They just fired both their coordinators yesterday. The Gators are awful. More on them in just a moment. The Jaguars are awful. We've been talking about that all night. We'll continue that conversation. Jamal St. Cyr of Channel 4 joins me at the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour. You got accusations going on against Todd Golden and the Gator basketball, the Gator basketball head coach. By the way, Florida is winning right now over Grambling, and Todd Golden is coaching that game tonight. Florida about to go to 3-0. The Orlando Magic lost their best player, Paolo Banchero, for 4 to 6 weeks with a oblique injury. So things are not good. It is not a positive time in North Central Florida sports right now, except on the campus of UNF. Boy, have you seen the Ospreys? My alma mater, 3 games into their college basketball season, they knock off South Carolina out of the Southeastern Conference. And yesterday they knocked off Georgia Tech out of the Atlantic Coast Conference. Not 1, but 2 Power 4 victories for UNF in their first 3 games, beating South Carolina, beating Georgia Tech. They actually play Georgia tomorrow night. My gracious, if they beat the Dogs too. They actually received 14 votes to be in the AP Top 25 this week. First time that's ever happened for UNF basketball. So they're one of the early season stories of college basketball. The job Matthew Driscoll and that staff have done with the Ospreys. Again, a win over South Carolina, a win over Georgia Tech. They play Georgia tomorrow night as UNF off to a 3-0 start on the hardwood. But coming back to the college gridiron, I mentioned this in the first segment. Scott Strickland, the Gator athletic director, gives Billy Napier the dreaded vote of confidence, right? The statement that was released basically implying that Napier will all but be back for 2025. And then Florida goes out on Saturday and just gets absolutely boat raced, man. Gets obliterated. 35-0 before you blink. Now, look. I am one of those people, and I have no problem saying this because I believe it, and, you know, that is what it is. That I believe there is something to be said for playing hard against Tennessee, but primarily playing hard against Georgia. When you're down to your third-string quarterback, Lagway gets hurt in the middle of the game. You already didn't have Wilson or Montrell Johnson, Graham Mertz, Jason Marshall, Trayon Webb. On down the line, the team is completely beat the heck. And you still are 20-20 with the Dogs with 5 minutes to go? Yeah, you're darn right. There is something to be said for playing hard. I have no problem saying that. When it comes to this Saturday, though, that's where you kind of draw a line for me, is when the statement came out after the game, well, we played hard and outscored Texas in the second half. Well, I don't care about that. What about the 35-0 in the first half, right? That was a bad performance by Florida on Saturday. That's their worst performance since the loss to Texas A&M. I don't think Tennessee was a bad performance. I think some of it was bad coaching, bad execution. I don't think anything was really bad against Georgia. I think they played as hard as they possibly could amidst the circumstances. Saturday was bad against Texas. I don't care how down you are or how many guys you have injured. The University of Florida should never be losing a game 42-0, which is what they were losing that game before they scored a couple of late touchdowns to make it look a little better than it was, and it still was 49-17. So what does that mean for Billy Napier moving forward? I don't know, other than if they lay an egg against LSU, I think we're probably back to square one, right? I'm not sure how much that Strickland statement means if LSU comes into the Swamp and beats Florida by 30. I don't expect that to happen, particularly because LSU's season is all but over after that loss to Alabama on Saturday. You kind of wonder where LSU will be mentally coming into the Swamp on Saturday. But if LSU comes in and does perform well and beats Florida up, then I think we're kind of back to square one when it comes to Billy's future with the Gators. And you add the Todd Golden news on top of all of that. Again, the accusations about the Gator basketball coach in the Alligator newspaper last week involving a couple of female students. The fact that Todd Golden is coaching the team tonight in their win against Grambling. There's a lot of stuff going on with the University of Florida. And when there's a lot of stuff going on in Gainesville, one of our guys in Gainesville has been for years is Andrew Spivey, GatorCountry.com. Let's talk Billy Napier. Let's talk football. Let's also talk Todd Golden and the basketball team, what all this stuff means for both of those sports moving forward. Andrew Spivey, GatorCountry.com in Gainesville next. Halfway home, 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. We'll take you up till 10 o'clock tonight, Jacksonville. Monday night, Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
A game where every yard counts. One player's performance stands out.
That's what you want from a leader.
Universal Roofing Contracting presents the Offensive Player of the Game.
Touchdown, what a throw.
On 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Hi, everybody. Mike Dempsey here, and today I want to call a timeout to shout out Awaken 180 Weight Loss for their 10-year anniversary. 10 years ago, Paige had developed a long-term solution for weight loss that could work for anyone. She cut through the misconceptions of lose weight, quick gadgets, fad diets, and medications, completely revolutionizing the weight loss industry with real results. More importantly, lasting results. Free support for life was and still is the backbone of the Awaken 180 program. 10 years later, 23,000 clients have lost a combined 750,000 pounds. Clients who've eliminated the need for cholesterol medications, blood pressure, and even type 2 diabetes medications. People like me, your neighbors, friends, and family who wanted to take back control of their weight, health, and happiness. I, for one, am so happy I found Awaken 180, and I know you'll be happy as well if you make the same choice. Here's to the next 10 years at Awaken180weightloss.com. That's Awaken180weightloss.com.
Visionaries, builders, and doers, are you ready to change the world? Miller Electric is your opportunity to shape the future. Miller Electric is leading the charge in electric vehicle technology with our state-of-the-art EV Innovation Design Center. We're working to create a sustainable future. We're also the proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, powering their performance at the brand-new Miller Electric Center. Miller Electric, we provide competitive pay, unbeatable benefits. Apply today. MillerCareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Get down to the bank Sunday, December 1st, when the Jaguars go head-to-head with division rivals, the Houston Texans. You won't want to miss our My Cause, My Cleats game, when your favorite players get to champion causes close to their heart by wearing custom-designed cleats. Lock in your seats now for a 1 p.m. kickoff by calling 904-633-2000 or visit us online at jaguars.com/tickets. We'll see you there.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Greetings from Daytona, where a band of dreamers took a strip of beach and turned it into a proving ground. The Great American Race, where year after year, greatness is the destination.
Drivers, start your engines, let's go!
So book your experience and soak in 500 miles of history and tradition. The Daytona 500, February 16th, 2025. Secure your seats now at Daytona500.com.
What if you could be debt-free by this January? Get rid of all that high-interest debt, pay off all your credit cards, consolidate everything into one lower payment. Hey, it's Prosper here, and if you're ready to stop stressing over bills, you need to call Loan Pronto right now. With rates at their lowest in 2 years, this is the perfect chance to use your home's equity and save big going into the new year. Loan Pronto's got rates with APRs in the low fives, and they're getting homeowners hundreds of thousands out of their home's equity. Homeowners who do this save on average $850 a month. Loan Pronto offers a ton of options, including total refis, express equity lines of credit. So call now. Get a rate quote in just minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call today. You won't make a house payment till 2025. 904-999-1508. That's loanpronto.com or 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Picking here with a message from Zero Res. You gotta just love this time of the year as we reflect on the things that matter most. Families, homes, the holidays, and of course football. They're very grateful for you all, the good people of Jacksonville, and they want to thank you. So get ready for the holidays. Book today and Zero Res will clean your carpets for only $49 a room. Plus, they'll give you 25% off your tile cleaning. This one fills up fast, so book now on both carpet and tile. Zero Res, fill it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Here's your 1010XL First Coast Community Calendar.
You can make a difference in the lives of people living with lung cancer. To join the American Lung Association at the Lung Force Walk at UNF November 16th, log on to lungforce.org/Jacksonville.
The Farm Share Thanksgiving Distribution Drive-Thru event is Saturday, November 23rd at the FSCJ downtown campus, starting at 8:30 a.m. until the food runs out. Call 328-6158.
Join best-selling author, senior editor of The Athletic, and college football podcast host Jason Kirk for a discussion and book signing at Hendricks Avenue Baptist Church, Sunday, November 24th. Register for this free event at San Marco Bookstore.
Fight skin cancer by playing golf at the Melanoma Research Foundation Golf Tournament, December 30th at Queens Harbor for a day of food and fun. To sign up, call 904-507-1401.
You can find out how to share your community event at 1010XL.com.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. Dandy subs and sandwiches. Look, we always want you to think about those great options as you're driving around Duval. But the beauty is, even as I'm dropping pounds, Dandy's got great options for me as well. Told you all about their protein packs, delicious salads that they have out there. They have fruit cups for on the go. You know what they have. Veggie snack trays. You can grab those on the go as well. Perfect, healthy snack. Dandy is the name to know when you're on the go. So stop into a Gate store anywhere around Duval and make yours a dandy, and do it today.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Florida LSU coming up this Saturday, 3:30 at the Swamp in Gainesville. You'll hear the game right here on 1010XL radio. And boy, there is, well, quite frankly, there's a lot going on at the University of Florida with both the football team and the basketball team. Let's talk about both of them. A lot of on the field, off the field, on the court, off the court things going on. Andrew Spivey is our guy down in Gainesville, GatorCountry.com. He's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Andrew, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Staying busy, you know. We never a dull moment in Gatorland.
Boy, you are busy. I mean, it is wild. Let's begin with football. The confidence, right? The vote of confidence came out from Scott Strickland last week, the athletic director, in that social media post. It looks like Billy Napier will return for 2025. And then Florida goes out and is losing 42-0 to Texas at halftime, or I guess early in the third quarter. So where are we now with Billy Napier and the future, and how was that received last week in Gainesville?
First off, when is the last time a vote of confidence ever worked?
Yeah, very rarely.
Very rarely. It was not well received. Was not well received from fans. Was not well received from boosters. It was not well received, period. And, you know, the overwhelming response is why? Why now? You know, if you're going to support Billy, do it after the season. Why now? Why you basically admitted there was the hot seat rumors were true or at least getting to you. So why now? I've heard recruiting. Ryan, you and I have done this a long time. You and I know that Georgia and Alabama haven't stopped saying, hey, Billy's not going to be back, or maybe Billy's there for a year. You and I have done this long enough to know negative recruiting is still happening. Mm-hmm. So that did nothing. And then you go out and you lay an egg as bad as you did. And listen, I get it. You were playing with your third-string quarterback. Your bottom of the depth at DB, receivers were out, everything like that. I get that. You played with no effort, no want to in the game, and then you have the nerve to come out and say, well, my guys played hard in the second half and they won the second half. Who cares? You lost the first half. You lost the game because you didn't come out in the first half and play. Who cares? And, my question to everyone has been, is this the new norm for Florida, that it's okay to win one half of football?
No, it's certainly not okay, and I agree with you. The timing of it was weird last week, but I guess, Andrew, maybe did Strickland just figure that, look, Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, that's the reality of the next three games. If they lose all three, the noise was going to get louder and louder and louder. Let's just kind of get in front of this thing before it happens. If you knew Billy was coming back, well, then make the announcement. My thought at the time, too, was maybe they had back channel conversations with Lane Kiffin, and maybe they got the vibe from Lane that he would not be interested in the job. I don't know if there was anything to that or not either.
Yeah, I mean, everything I've been told was Lane wants this job. Lane's begging for this job, and that's why I think in 2 weeks he may show Scott Strickland up close and personal how much he wants this job with the playing on the field. If Billy's coming back, cool. But I just don't get it. I think it was weird, the timing. And my thing is always, it has been for the last few days, of what happens if the unthinkable happens and you go 0-4 and find a way to lose to Florida State. Can you honestly bring him back if he was to lose to Mike Norvell? I know fans would be PO'd, boosters would be PO'd if that happened. And I know, that they're getting out in front of this with the national media saying about how much the buyout would cost and about how all the NIL money is with the young guys, this, that, and the other. Again, who cares? Who cares? Like, who cares the young guys? You've used the excuse all year at the beginning of the year, especially. This was a veteran team and you expected good things. Now you're going back to, we got a bunch of young guys. Well, you can't have it both ways, Billy.
Andrew Spivey, GatorCountry.com. Andrew, you've covered that team for years. Let me ask you, flat out, you don't sugarcoat very much. Why, in your opinion, are they bringing Billy Napier back?
DJ Lagway. That's the only reason. It's not recruiting. They're 60-something and 64, I believe, in recruiting. But they're not recruiting well. They don't hit the portal very well. But they haven't shown, they've had glimpses here and there. But again, are we okay at the University of Florida that you fought hard in the Tennessee and Georgia game? Not me. I'm used to the days of winning those games, dominating those series. So the only logical reason to bring him back is DJ Lagway. That's it. And again, who's to say Alabama, Georgia, USC, Texas A&M for even doesn't offer DJ a monster payday and he leaves anyway?
Well, that would be a wild circumstance. That's certainly something that people have talked about, no question about it. And I guess the Lagway thing is the first and foremost. I commended Billy because I did think they played hard. It would have been very easy amidst all the injuries, which I want to get to the injuries in a moment. It would have been very easy for this team to tuck tail and do whatever. But that didn't happen until last week, and it's 35-0 before you blink against Texas, and it was horrific timing for Scott Strickland because he has the vote of confidence for Billy Napier. Then the Todd Golden stuff comes out, which we'll get to in a moment. And then ESPN, I don't know if they're trying to just, destroy the guy, but they put him on their camera, or I guess ABC did, with the graphic about Billy Napier while it's 42-0 Texas over Florida. And, of course, that goes viral on social media. So back to your point, if Florida loses to LSU this Saturday and to Ole Miss, and heaven forbid to Florida State, has Strickland backed himself in between a rock and a hard place now if he ultimately were to fire Billy after this based on that vote of confidence last week?
I think Scott's in the corner anyway. I mean, listen, Scott understands if the moment he fires Billy Napier, his job is done as soon as the president is hired. He understands that. And I think that at the end of the day, and this is harsh, and I like Scott Strickland as a person, and this is harsh to say, I think Scott Strickland's looking after one thing and one thing only, and that's himself in this whole situation. He understands Billy's not doing the job. He understands Billy's not there, but he also understands this is the last straw from him. And if he lets Billy go, he has nothing to stand on. Boosters aren't letting him make the next hire. Boosters don't have the confidence in him to make the next hire. And the moment a new AD comes in, boosters are going to tell the new president, get rid of Scott Strickland. And that's a hard reality to say, but that's what it is. And I'll take it a step further, too. And I don't know if you watched the game or how you did it, Ryan, but it sounded like Jesse Palmer and those guys were given a press secretary list of things to talk about during the game. It was like that Scott Strickland's list of reasons of why he was bringing back Billy Napier. Those guys were pumping them about the young guys and how the team's playing hard and this, that, and the other. I felt like I was listening to a political speech of why I should elect Billy Napier as my football coach. And it was, again, and I think the thing for me, Ryan, and this is the part that upsets me and take away my media and everything else. As a person who loves the University of Florida and loves the football program and stuff, this is an all-time low that we're losing on a football game to Texas 42-0, and we have the announcers talking about, well, these guys are playing hard. Who cares? Who cares? This is not Liberty, or this is not FAU versus Alabama or FAU versus Florida. This is the University of Florida versus the University of Texas, and the only good thing you can say is they played hard.
Yeah, it's a good point. And again, I was guilty of that against Tennessee and Georgia, but there was no excuse for the Texas situation. That brings me to the injuries. And look, I want to get to Todd Golden in a moment because goodness knows there's things to talk about there as well. They have been destroyed with injuries, Andrew. And look, football's a tough sport. We get it. There's a lot of injuries every year. But good grief, I don't know if I can ever remember a Gator football team that has lost this many guys with season-ending injuries. I mean, is this a strength and conditioning issue? Is this old-fashioned bad luck? I mean, they are without, arguably their 5 best players to begin the year are all gone. You could argue, 10 of their best 25, 30 players have missed significant time. It has been wild the amount of injuries this team has had this year.
I mean, I think it's bad luck in the game of football. I also think that's what happens when you have 3 strength and conditioning coaches in a matter of 6 months. Mark Hockey started it. Then they had the guy that is now at Rutgers. And then they had Mark Hockey's former assistant take over. I mean, you fired Mark Hockey for a reason. Or didn't fire him, excuse me. You promoted him to another position to get him out of the strength and conditioning department, and you hired his assistant. That doesn't make any sense. That would be like firing Billy Napier and saying, hey, Rob Sell, you're the new head coach for the Florida Gators going forward. What do you expect? The same results. So I think some of it has to do with strength and conditioning for sure. I think that, again, it's obviously bad luck and it's part of the game. And we all remember, 2014 with Will Muschamp when there was like 9 ACL injuries. And so it happens. It's never good. But I'll say this, and I was doing a radio spot before I got on with you, Ryan, and that is, it doesn't matter how good of a football player you are. Everybody can give 100% effort, and it was not 100% effort given in that Texas game in the first half, and that's embarrassing.
Completely agree, but do the injuries garner Billy any sympathy? Does he get the sympathy vote from the fans because of the injuries?
Not from me, because at the beginning of the year when he was healthy, he got blown out by a Miami team that continues to look very beatable. He got blown out by an A&M team, and the guys didn't even play hard in that game. So the sympathy for me is not there because when fully healthy, he still didn't play well. So I can't say it's okay. And again, I can't say it's okay that your third string quarterback is a walk-on from Yale. This is SEC football. What are we doing?
It's not a good look, no doubt about it. Now, again, I don't know how many teams in college football could survive their top two quarterbacks on their depth chart going out. What do we think about Lagway? I mean, it's obviously very early in the week before LSU, Ole Miss a week after, and then finally Florida State. Do you expect we'll see Lagway again this year?
Yeah, I do. I said I would be shocked if he played this week against LSU just because hamstrings are weird. I mean, if you rush them back, you will, tear it like a Dak Prescott and, be out for, 8 months, 6 months, whatever. I think that the Texas thing was overplayed big time. I think that was gamemanship on Billy's part. And, hey, good for you. Maybe you got Texas to believe him that they were, he had a chance to play. He dressed out and, walked around the field during pregame. Cool. I would say realistically, I would expect him back at Ole Miss. I don't have him back this week against LSU. I think it's too soon. And I think, if you're looking out for the longevity of him, I wouldn't push him back this week.
Yeah, for Florida, their entire season's going to revolve around Florida State. They absolutely cannot lose to the worst Florida State team that I've ever seen in my lifetime. And if they have DJ Lagway, that'll certainly help their chances. Final moments, Andrew Spivey, GatorCountry.com. As if that's not crazy enough, the Billy Napier, Scott Strickland vote of confidence stuff with the football team. Boy, the Todd Golden stuff is wild. I mean, you're based over there in Gainesville. The Independent Alligator student newspaper had the story last week about all these accusations in regards to Todd Golden. The basketball team, by the way, is playing right now, and Todd Golden's coaching the team tonight, which is interesting. But what do you make of the Golden story? Golden released a statement where I guess he's hired a lawyer and looking at a defamation suit against the people involved. So somebody is lying in a big, big way, Andrew, it appears.
You would have liked for Todd to say, I'm completely innocent, and I, look forward to being proven innocent. You'd have liked for that to have been a part of this statement, but it wasn't. We're innocent until proven guilty. I understand from being around high profile coaches and stuff does get made up against you. It's very possible this was made up. We don't know. If you believe what was reported, and I have no reason not to believe it, they have evidence. If that's the case, then it's going to be tough. I think that it is Scott Strickland must know for a fact and have evidence that Todd Golden is completely innocent in this, because if not, and he's found guilty and you let him coach, it is a terrible look. And listen, we first heard these allegations back in June. We heard rumblings about this in June. So you've had a lot of time. And, then the Title IX investigation was delivered September 27th. So you've had a lot of time. So if you're Scott Strickland, you better be sure that he is 100% innocent in this case, because if not, it is a very bad look. And, going back to, the Scott Strickland deal in general, if true, this would be the third coach with Title IX problems. And, this is the third coach now that he's hired that has had Title IX investigations going back to the soccer coach and then Cam Newberg, the women's basketball coach. That's a bad look. And you have to certainly start judging Scott's ability to read a man's character.
You do, and again, I'm just trying to wrap my mind around the fact that Golden is going to remain the coach, and not only that, but he is coaching, tonight and moving forward, presumably. And I think you're right. Florida and the Golden camp and people behind him must believe that these accusations are false and they can prove them to be false, and that's why you're letting him coach, because I agree with you. If any of that stuff was proven to be true and it involved accusations, nothing proven. But in that alligator story from last week, stalking and sending text messages and inappropriate things to students at the University of Florida. it's not good, the stuff that was in there. And if any of that stuff is proven to be true and they're letting him coach, my goodness gracious, that's going to be horrific.
Yeah, and I mean, again, they say they have pitchers and stuff like that. So, if that's the case, surely, I mean, I don't know how this investigation works from a Title IX standpoint. I'm not sure if, Scott Strickland and Todd Golden have, been able to see if they actually have pitchers and ask for those pitchers. I don't know from a Title IX standpoint, if Scott and Florida side can communicate with that side. I don't know how that works, but it's a dark cloud hanging over the university. And as a booster told me, they said, how many dark clouds have to come over this university before change is done? And I think that leads into a deeper conversation for you and I, maybe in the off season, where maybe it's just not Scott, Billy, and Todd that need to go. Maybe it's the entire Foley people that are left in the UAA that need to go. Maybe it's time to just gut out the UAA in general and hire new.
There's a lot going on in Gainesville, a lot to digest, no question about that. That will be a conversation for down the road. Andrew Spivey's one of our guys in Gainesville, GatorCountry.com. Andrew, tell the folks here in Jacksonville, man, with all this stuff around the Gator Athletic Program, what you guys have over there at GatorCountry.com.
Yeah, we're following some recruiting as some guys are going to come on campus this weekend for that LSU game and then for the Ole Miss game as well. And obviously continuing to follow the Golden stuff as that'll heat up more as the days go and as he's coaching. And let's also remember this. That's a good basketball team. So we'll be following that team as well. And then the DJ Lagway stuff. So follow us on GatorCountry.com and Andrew Spivey GC on X as well. And Ryan, I have to say, my Falcons and our Jaguars let us down yesterday.
Well, I'll tell you this. We're in football hell in North Florida. Between the Seminoles, the Gators, and the Jaguars, they're a combined 7-22 here in 2024. It is absolutely incredible, the fall from grace for all three teams. But at least you have, like, the Braves, right? At least you got into the playoffs. You got to experience some of that. I'm an Orlando Magic fan. They were my one hope, and then Paolo gets hurt for 6 weeks. But you know what, Andrew? You know what's carrying the torch for me right now is my alma mater, man, the Fighting Ospreys of UNF. South Carolina wanted none of it. Georgia Tech wanted none of it. Matthew Driscoll's got the Ospreys 3-0, and that's where I'm at in life right now. So I'm all in on UNF, brother.
Hey, well, my Falcons should make the playoffs. 3 missed field goals and couldn't have 1 block to the Saints. Just hate losing to the Saints. We should get in, but my Hawks are pitiful. They're really bad.
It's a tough time of year for both of us. Andrew Spivey. Andrew, always appreciate you, man. We'll talk again soon.
Absolutely, Ryan. Take care, buddy. Have a good one.
Even the best teams can lose steam when their best players end up on the sidelines.
In case you haven't noticed, our receiver corps is decimated.
Listen for the personal injury attorneys Farah and Farah Injury Update.
Jacksonville. It's part of the game, though,
On 1010XL.
Yo, what's happening, fellas? It's your boy E to the T, and I'm going to keep it real. We could all benefit from a little something extra in the bedroom. Blue Chew can help, and I'm about to tell you how you can get some for free. Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in a chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. No doctor visits, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew ships right to your door in a discreet package. Not even them nosy neighbors gonna know what's going on. Blue Chew's licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredients and strength for your prescription. And did I mention the chewable? Just like popping a Mentos. And they're made right here in the good old US of A. Now you're asking, how do I get my Blue Chew? Visit BlueChew.com and make sure to enter promo code 1010XL at checkout. Try it for free and just pay $5 shipping. Turn that oh no into a oh yeah. That's right. Use promo code 1010XL and let your boy hook you up with some Blue Chew. Get your confidence back. Visit BlueChew.com.
If you have a slow-draining sink or toilet that sounds like it's about to back up, imagine the potential plumbing emergency when you have family over for the holidays. Flush after flush after flush. Avoid holiday clogs with a call to Duck Rooter today. Duck Rooter will come and resolve those plumbing issues so you can enjoy a free-flowing holiday season. Call 904-862-6769. Visit DuckDuckRooter.com.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Make a crucial catch against colon cancer. Hicken here for the Borland Groover Foundation. If you're 45 or older, the ball is in the red zone to get screened. The key to surviving colon cancer, early detection and prevention. 45 is the new 50. Get screened for colon cancer now. The Borland Groover Foundation is a nonprofit organization devoted to building a healthy and equitable community that is free from colon cancer. Visit BorlandGrooverFoundation.com for more.
Get the latest on the Gators from one of the greatest Gators.
Touchdown, Gators!
Chris Doring joins Dan and Jeff on the drill Tuesday morning on 1010XL.
Go Gators!
Brought to you by the personal injury attorneys of Farah and Farah.
This is your Mad Dad's Update with Chapter President Donald Ford.
In our effort to curb crime, drugs, and violence during the summer months, we are offering Friday Night Lights. It has already started and will be going until school starts back. It is every Friday night from 6:30 to 9:30 at the Blacktop, 5732 Normandy Boulevard, and behind the Potter's House Christian Academy. We manage 3 basketball courts. You are not running on the cement. We have covering on each court. The Lakers, the Magic, and the Heat. Ages 15 to 40 years old. This will give them something to do other than selling drugs and getting into trouble. We have monitors there giving leadership. We have to wake up, stand up, and speak up. Hit me on Facebook and tell me what you think. Or MattDadJacksonville.com.
Have you or someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI and all criminal offenses. I've been named the best DUI attorney in the state, and David has been named the best criminal defense lawyer in Jacksonville. In your battle with the justice system, there is only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645.
Time now for a medical recap. A health and wellness tip from Jaguars head team physician, Dr. Kevin Kaplan.
Strength and resistance training are some of the best forms of exercise you can do to strengthen your muscles and improve your body composition. It may also lead to important improvements in metabolic health, meaning your blood sugar levels are easier to manage, and it also increases how many calories you burn at rest. The Physical Activity Guidelines for Americans recommends resistance training twice per week in addition to cardio training. Let's get fit, Jacksonville.
Hi, everybody. Mike Dempsey here, and today I want to call a timeout to shout out Awaken 180 Weight Loss for their 10-year anniversary. 10 years ago, Paige had developed a long-term solution for weight loss that could work for anyone. She cut through the misconceptions of lose weight, quick gadgets, fad diets, and medications, completely revolutionizing the weight loss industry with real results. More importantly, lasting results. Free support for life was and still is the backbone of the Awaken 180 program. 10 years later, 23,000 clients have lost a combined 750,000 pounds. Clients who've eliminated the need for cholesterol medications, blood pressure, and even type 2 diabetes medications. People like me, your neighbors, friends, and family who wanted to take back control of their weight, health, and happiness. I, for one, am so happy I found Awaken 180, and I know you'll be happy as well if you make the same choice. Here's to the next 10 years at Awaken180weightloss.com. That's Awaken180weightloss.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Back into the Jacksonville Jaguars coming up in less than 10 minutes. Jamal St. Cyr of Channel 4 joins me here on Hacker After Dark. Monday Night Football tonight to cap off Week 10 of the regular season. Dolphins, a 10-3 lead on the Rams. Malik Washington, the only touchdown of the game. Then a couple of field goals. Dolphins 10, Rams 3 at the 2-minute warning of the first half. You know, to add extra salt into the wound real quick about the Jaguars' struggles this year is the absolute ineptitude of the rest of the division. The AFC South was the worst division in football coming into 2023. Going out of 2023, it was on the up-and-coming list, right? 3 teams, 9 wins. All the offseason momentum for all 4 organizations. So far this year, pathetic. The Jaguars would have the first pick in the draft if the draft happened right now. The Indianapolis Colts benched Anthony Richardson for Joe Flacco, which has not worked. They're 4-6. The Tennessee Titans are 2-7, and people are already questioning the Brian Callahan hire in Nashville. Houston will win the division by default, but they're 6-4, and they're middle of the pack at best in the AFC. For all the talk about how the South really improved, it was just that talk. The division is awful. There are serious questions here in Jacksonville, serious questions in Nashville, serious questions in Indianapolis. There are less questions, but probably more disappointment, despite the fact Houston's going to win the division. They're not going to compete with Kansas City or Baltimore or any of the big boys in the AFC playoffs. Jaguars are awful in a year the division is awful. It was ripe for the taking. And the Jaguars are just letting it slide right through their fingertips. The Jaguars are the worst team in the worst division in the National Football League. And that's your reality. Jamal St. Cyr, Channel 4, next. Monday night, Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Sometimes winning and losing comes down to one play. There's only one performance painting, high-performance play of the game on 1010XL.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation, light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
So, Ammon, when was the last time that you cleaned your air ducts?
Dad, I manage the air duct cleaning at Zero Res. Trust me, my ducts are cleaner than the plates after Thanksgiving dinner.
Well, I hope so, but it's not just you I'm thinking of. Everyone in Jacksonville should get their air ducts cleaned before the holidays.
You're right. Even though we don't blast the heat like up north, we still trap dust and allergens when the windows stay shut. All that gunk just recirculates through your home and makes your air quality worse.
So you're saying Zero Res air duct cleaning keeps my air fresh and ready for my holiday guests?
Exactly. Clean ducts means cleaner air, just in time for Thanksgiving. Plus, we've got a November special running right now. Call Zero Res today and we'll give you $50 off. No more dust, just fresh, clean air for you and your family this holiday season.
Sounds good, son. Now, how about that family discount?
We'll see, Dad.
Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com or call now. Zero Res,
spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
If you're like most Americans, you have a ton of credit card debt and you're paying insane interest rates on that debt every month. Same for car loans and personal loans. Stop getting ripped off. Let Loan Pronto consolidate that debt for you at a significantly lower rate using the equity in your home. Hey, it's Prosper here, and Loan Pronto's Express Equity Line of Credit can get you up to $500,000. So you can consolidate your debt in as fast as 5 days. Their average client saves over $1,000 every month by doing this. Right now is the best time to act. With an Express Equity Line of Credit, you can access up to 90% of your home's equity, usually without an appraisal. Don't put it off. Get your financial house in order for the new year and call Loan Pronto now to see what you can save. It's a free quote and there's no credit pull, unlike the other guys. Call now, 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Grinding out good grades can be just as challenging as winning games. That's why 1010XL salutes the Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists and the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234. Wednesdays on The Frangie Show.
It's a game 80 years in the making. Join us for Thursday Night Football as we celebrate the 80th birthday of the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl game. The SEC and ACC face off January 2nd at 7:30 on Bill Gay Grounds at Everbank Stadium. Don't miss college football pageantry on display as we celebrate our 80th anniversary. Tickets and hospitality packages are on sale now at TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com. Get yours today.
Get ready for a smoking hot night at the brand new Cigars International Superstore at the Town Center. Friday, join 1010XL for a back-to-back live broadcast. Into the Night with Rick Ballou kicks things off from 4 to 6, followed by the Bueller Air Conditioning and Plumbing College Football Kickoff Show from 6 to 7:30 with Matt Hayes. Celebrate with 1010XL as we promote Saturday's grand opening of Cigars International. Swing by Friday. 1010XL is live on location from 4 to 7:30 only at Cigars International.
This is David with Royal Pest Services. Join us Friday, November 15th from 12 to 2 with Helmets and Heels at Tony D's for our customer appreciation.
And there'll be free slices for you guys.
Tony, you've been down here long enough. It's y'all.
Here's your 1010XL First Coast Community Calendar.
The Farm Share Thanksgiving Distribution Drive-Thru event is Saturday, November 23rd at the FSCJ Downtown Campus, starting at 8:30 a.m. until the food runs out. Call 328-6158.
Join best-selling author, senior editor of The Athletic, and college football podcast host Jason Kirk for a discussion and book signing at Hendricks Avenue Baptist Church, Sunday, November 24th. Register for this free event at San Marco Bookstore.
Fight skin cancer by playing golf at the Melanoma Research Foundation Golf Tournament, December 30th at Queens Harbor for a day of food and fun. To sign up, call 904-507-1401.
City Rescue Mission has been providing food, clothing, and love for over 70 years to the homeless in Jacksonville. If someone you know is struggling, learn more about the City Rescue Mission at crmjax.org.
You can find out how to share your community event at 1010XL.com.
The team at Hidden Hills Golf Club invites you to book your next round of golf with us. At Hidden Hills, we love the game, and we'll provide you with a memorable golf experience at one of the most unique golf courses in North Florida. Check us out at hiddenhillsgc.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jacksonville Jaguars are now 2-8 on the year after their most recent loss to the Minnesota Vikings. They have lost 13 of their last 16 games dating back to last season. And the reward for all of that is a trip to the Motor City, to the Detroit Lions on Sunday, and Detroit might be the best team in the NFL currently. So there's a lot of bad things happening with the Jaguar organization. Let's talk about it with my buddy Jamal St. Cyr of Channel 4. Jamal, I haven't broke down X's and O's. I'm not going to ask you to do it either because we don't know what we're talking about and don't understand it according to the to the head coach. But we'll try to make sense of what we do know. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Hacker?
Oh, I just don't know if I could be any better, Jamal. If I was any better, I'd be jealous of myself with a 2-8 team that you cover on a daily basis. You were in the press conference on Sunday after the game. Doug Peterson certainly making some noise about we can't ask him questions because we really wouldn't understand it anyway. What did you make of the head coach's comments?
Look, honestly, look, I thought it was a comment that really was ill-timed. It made no sense in the moment. And, I mean, he's a guy who's looking for answers. And to make a snide comment like that when I get it. He's trying to figure out how not to throw somebody under the bus, but there's 1,000 ways to do that without taking like a slick shot that didn't need to be taken because it really wasn't that complex of a situation or that complex of a play. It was a bad choice on the play. You called it. Here's the progression. Move on. Like, I get it. He's at this point where there's frustrations at every level, and now he's directed them toward the media. It was a fair question, and I think Doug's just at that point. He can see the end is near, or that the writing's on the wall, and now he's just kind of projecting outwards. But that's also not the first time that we've had those sorts of transgressions from Doug this year. Like, there's a lot of frustration been floating around and being flung around from him.
Well, and in fairness, too, he's the one that has to talk to us 4 or 5 times a week, whereas Trent Baalke, who to me is equally as responsible for this nonsense, doesn't have to talk at all. So Doug is the one that's facing down the media every single week, and I can get the frustration. Having said that, I agree it was ill-timed what he said about we wouldn't know it anyway, and you combine that with what he said last week when, again, a fair question. Trevor Lawrence is a right-handed quarterback. He has a left shoulder injury. How does a left shoulder injury affect a right-handed quarterback? And Doug said, well, it affects the way he carries his duffel bag in. Well, okay, if you're 7-2 and you say that, yeah, that might be funny. At 2-7 last week, to me, that wasn't funny. And then he combined that with, well, it's a pain tolerance issue. So reading between the lines there, I mean, are you saying that Trevor's not playing on Sunday because he doesn't want to deal with a pain tolerance issue? Again, I thought that was weird last week.
I think there's some concern around Trevor with, they want to protect the guy. Obviously, this is an injury. We don't know the specifics of the injury, the severity of it, since they haven't really given out those details. We know it's an injury to his non-throwing shoulder. He's had injuries like that in the past. Think about before the Jaguars drafted him, he had to have surgery on his non-throwing shoulder because of an injury he played through during his time at Clemson, and he played through during his prep for the draft. And then once it was all said and done, everything was good, he went to have surgery. These are things that can be dealt with, or you can put them to bed. Now, we don't know the severity of it. We don't know if it's a tear, a sprain. We don't know where it's at. So for Doug to come out and say it's a pain tolerance thing, to me looks like he's looking at or trying to learn lessons from what happened last year. If you look at how Trevor handled the injuries last year when he really pushed through them, but he wasn't practicing and he really wasn't playing well, but he was pushing through to play on game day. I think this is something from that, where it's a carryover that says, look, while Trevor will gut it out and he'll go play, maybe the coaching staff and the trainers have to, at times, protect Trevor from himself.
Jamal St. Cyr, Channel 4, with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. I mean, the Doug Peterson stuff has been interesting. If you actually want to focus on the game from Sunday, they had 143 yards of offense, Jamal. They had the ball for less than 18 minutes. They targeted Brian Thomas 3 times. You go back to Philadelphia, they didn't get a first down until midway through the second quarter. I mean, you've been covering the NFL for a long time, man. I mean, this offense is in shambles right now, correct? Is there anything positive that's going on?
Seems like that's what Doug Peterson can't figure out, right? But he's over here taking shots at us for asking about the plays that don't make sense or that aren't happening. There's problems. There's problems everywhere you look at it. Doug Peterson was hired to be the answer for the offense. He was hired to help Trevor Lawrence take the steps that he needed to take in his NFL career, and he was hired to make it work. They traded for Mac Jones because just in case this exact situation came up. They went and got Mac. Okay, well, if Trevor goes down, Mac's going to be the guy. Well, Mac and the offense and as a whole didn't look prepared. And then you talk to the guys in the locker room after the game, and they're saying, we got to be better at this, better at that, better at this. And it's like, well, so you just need to play better football. And they say, yeah, that's what we got to do. We just have to play better football. Why does that seem so complicated? There's more questions than answers. There's issues. There's been mismanagement. Look, I think Doug's at the end of the rope. I honestly do. I think it's coming to an end real soon. I don't know how he can fix it at this point, because it's one of those things where it feels like it's too far gone, Hacker. Because when you look at teams, like I like to give coaches the benefit of the doubt on certain times. Like Doug's specialty is supposed to be the offense. So I'm not going to hold the defense to against him too much. He hired a coordinator to take care of that. Well, he's made a switch at that defensive coordinator after last season. And I mean, Ryan Nielsen coached a good game yesterday or on Sunday, but Doug's offense looks inept. It looks terrible. And that is what I will hold him the highest of accountability for, as well as managing the team. I mean, look, there's more questions than answers, and it's something that Doug's got to figure out.
You were in the locker room after the game, and you've been in the locker room after all the games. I've heard people that were also in there use the word deflating. Like maybe this was the most deflated that locker room has been this year. Is that the vibe that you got?
I wouldn't say it was the most deflated that it's been. No, I wouldn't use that word. Look, I think that there's some frustration there. I think guys know what's coming. I think at this point it's been deflated for a couple of weeks because they've gotten there. I mean, I think it was after maybe the Packers loss where they talked about Evan Ingram's message to the team and about throwing record out the window and what legacy do you want to leave behind. When you start saying things like throw the record out the window, that tells you where you're at in the season. No, I wouldn't say that. I think there was definitely some frustration there. A lot of guys were frustrated from some of the things that happened out on the field during the games to where they're at in the season, and it just feels like it feels like this thing is spiraling out of control, and they haven't been able to figure out how to fix it or stop the spiral.
Final moments, Jamal St. Cyr of Channel 4. Jamal, let's kind of look big picture. Again, I'm asking you to be Nostradamus here and give your best guess, your best thought. Again, we don't know the severity of Trevor's injury, but at 2-8, I mean, that is what it is. If the NFL draft were right now, the Jaguars would literally have the #1 pick in the draft. If Trevor's shoulder is not 100%, is it worth putting him back out there at all at this point?
Yes. Yes. If Trevor can play, he needs to play. What you can't afford to do is have Trevor lose the respect of the locker room. I don't care what the reports are. I don't care if the report is that or any of that. If the guys in the locker room think Trevor could play and he mails it in, when you've got iron men like Brandon Sheriff, who finds ways to finish games every time you see him get hurt. You've got other guys playing through these injuries who are trying to finish the year and doing what they can do. The quarterback's the leader of the team. If other guys are pushing through injuries, it does shake the confidence in the locker room if they know their quarterback won't push through for them.
It's a fair point.
If he can play, he needs to play.
It's a fair point. I think back to what Trevor did last year, as you mentioned, but again, it's just tough because we don't know the severity of the shoulder. We know it was obviously bad enough to keep him out against Minnesota. We'll see what happens moving forward against Detroit. Also, big picture, I mean, we know Shad Khan was in town this weekend. Everybody saw the yacht, right, in downtown Jacksonville. You have said in the last 10 minutes that the end feels like it's near. I mean, what are we talking about here, Jamal? In your opinion, it's not rocket science, right? I mean, if they go up to Detroit and it's bad, they're going into a bye week. I mean, that would be the time to do something, correct?
I mean, that would. I don't get the feeling that it'll happen. I think Shad's far more patient than you or I. If I was a guessing person right now, I'd say Doug finishes the season. But I mean, in that same guessing vein, I would think his counterpart in the front office may not.
Oh, that's interesting. All right, because there's been a loyalty to Trent Baalke there. So, again, you've piqued my interest. Do you think if one of them were to get let go, you think Baalke's more likely before the year's over?
Well, if you think back to when Dave Caldwell left,
yeah,
Dave was gone before the end of the year.
Yeah, that's a good.
So that's your callback to 2020 when Shad made the last GM move. Was he moved on from Dave before the end of the season and then basically said, all right, here's your chance to separate yourself.
See, and when it comes to
And
Shad, real quick, when it comes to Shad, Jamal, I've said this, for a while now. Love what he's done for the organization, the city. I mean, my goodness gracious, the Stadium of the Future, the Miller Electric Center, all the money he's been willing to invest in free agency and contract extensions. A+, 2 thumbs up on both sides of there. My one fault with Shad Khan is his loyalty. He's obviously been too loyal, and I think that is a talking point. That's what most people think about when they see Shad now. They talk about him being too loyal. And I think he's probably heard that criticism, and I wonder if that weighs on his mind and whatever decision he's going to make now moving forward.
I don't think that's gonna play a role at all. I think he doubled down on his standards because he looks at it the same way he looks at business practices, and building a business, a hard rebuild is never normally a great thing. You need that consistency to try and carry things over. That's his thought process. While we look at it in the NFL and say you have short windows, in order to maximize those windows, you need to tear down and restart as quickly and as efficiently as possible. Look, I fundamentally think at this point, he's heard the problems and complaints about Trent Baalke for years. He ignored them. He was loyal to Trent, gave Trent an opportunity. I think now the writing is on the wall that he was wrong. I mean, Trent, I'm sure when the owner stands in front of the team and says, this is the best team in franchise history, who do you think's in his ear telling him that? The guy who built the team is the one that whispers him that. So every time we quote that back, what is that? That's saying, remember that guy you trusted who hung you out to dry? So, look, I think that I think Trent's going to be the guy who's going to be the fall guy first. We'll see. That's just my gut right now is that he's going to go that direction and give Doug a chance because Doug's record outside of this year has been overall solid, led him to 2 back-to-back winning seasons. And, look, he brought him here because he has the Super Bowl championship under his belt. So I could see him giving Doug a chance to either earn next year or one more year. I'm not sure if that's the right decision or the decision I would do, but that is what Shad's track record says he would do.
And again, I get it. That's a track record, but I don't know how you can fire a GM and keep the head coach because what GM is going to want to work there, or how you can fire head coach and keep the GM because what head coach is going to want to work for a GM that he doesn't have a relationship with. I just don't understand it. We'll see what happens ultimately. Final thoughts, Jamal St. Cyr of Channel 4. We're in football hell right now in North Florida, all right? When you take in Florida State, Florida, and the Jaguars, it's a combined 7-22, Jamal. I mean, in your time here in Jacksonville, which you've been here now for a minute, I mean, this is as bad as it's been for those 3 combined. It's unbelievable.
Man, there's not a whole lot to be positive about. I mean, shucks, Florida had a bad weekend as a whole. Miami lost. I mean, it was everybody. I mean, right now, the one positive spot is UNF basketball, who's running through everybody. They took out South Carolina and Georgia Tech in the same week. So the Ospreys are everybody's one hope for winning right now.
That's what I said earlier. My alma mater, that's what's carrying the torch for the sports fans here in Jacksonville. No question about that. All right, Jamal, Teal the show. You and Frank Frangie, I guess, will try to make sense of this nonsense. Where can people watch it?
Yeah, we try and make sense of the nonsense every Monday and Friday night at 11:20 over on Channel 4. If you miss it live, you can also check it out over on newsforjax.com if you click on that sports page. Yeah, we try and make the sense of it. At some point, it will be nice to have a Victory Monday episode, but we've only had 2 of those this year, so rough go of it.
Well, with at Detroit and then a bye week and then home against Houston, I wouldn't hold your breath on any Victory Mondays coming in the near future. Jamal St. Cyr does a great job covering the Jacksonville Jaguars for Channel 4, and he's always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. Jamal, I know you're busy, brother. Thank you for the time. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks for having me, Hacker.
Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
And thank you to Jamal St. Cyr of Channel 4 for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark. As look, we're trying to make sense of what's gone on with Jacksonville Jaguars. Now 2-8 on the year, just a disaster of a season. It's been a nightmare. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. There really is no sugarcoating it at this point. It is arguably the most disappointing season in the history of the Jaguars. Look, they've been awful many other times, but normally they didn't have a lot of high expectations coming in. They had realistic expectations coming in of division championships here in 2024, playoff berth in 2024, and they are right now the worst team in the NFL, because if the NFL draft were held as we speak, the Jaguars would have the number 1 pick in the draft. So it's been a disaster of a year, and that includes yesterday's loss, 12-7 to the Minnesota Vikings. So we spent a lot of time on the Jaguars, spent a lot of time on Florida as well. Billy Napier gets the vote of confidence and then goes out and absolutely gets steamrolled by Texas on Saturday. Of course, you got all the Todd Golden stuff going on with the basketball team. Wild times, man, wild times across our sports universe, no question about that. Well, that will just about do it for a Monday evening here on Hacker After Dark. It has been very busy. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. We have a ton of people to thank. Again, Jamal St. Cyr of Channel 4. I always appreciate Jamal. Thank you to Andrew Spivey of GatorCountry.com over in Gainesville, talking about what's going on with Todd Golden and the basketball team. Also, Billy Napier and the football team. Always appreciate Andrew's time. And back in hour number 1, it's Monday night, which means Monday night coaching with Campo. We talked to my buddy Dave Campo, former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, and tried to make sense of this 2-8 start here for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, we will be back tomorrow night on a Tuesday, and we will do it all over again beginning at 8 o'clock. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Dylan, great job as always. I'm the hacker Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending part of your Monday evening with us right here on Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. So for all of us here on HAD, have an absolutely terrific remainder of your Monday evening. And we will talk to you again tomorrow night on a Tuesday beginning at 8 o'clock. Until then, good night, Jacksonville.
Jags fans, looking for the perfect activity around the holidays? We've got you covered with the